Hey, I'm Yitzi Zaklos, and I'm going to be ranking the top 15 point guards of this era. So, number one, Stephen Curry. He's unanimously number one. Could be best of all time. 4 rings, 2 MVPs. One unanimous leader of the last dynasty. Changed the game. Number two, I have Chris Paul. The longevity and consistent winning and elevation of teams he was on, like the 2018 were the best the Rockets were and almost beat the Warriors with CP3. Then the OKC year where they overachieved. And then Phoenix, although overblown, big part of success and year he got there goes to the finals. But he does have some playoff shortcomings. 2021 finals, except for game one where he was great, he had 38. And game six, he was pretty good. And then against the Mavs, the first two games was really good, but then totally plummeted. Number three, I have Damian Lillard. The success Portland has had in the Dame era was all because of him. They never actually really competed, but big time playoff moments. Game 6, 2014 versus the Rockets, buzzer beater. 50-point buzzer beater versus the Thunder in 2019. Huge 55-point game in loss, Game 5 versus Denver in the 2021 playoffs. His package of step back threes, one like spinning with back to the basket, just remarkable. Did have a low though in 2018, swept by the Pelicans, Andrew Holiday. Number four, Kyrie Irving. I would say best handles ever, and in just talking skills like shooting, dribbling, fluidity, finishing, and just the kinds of moves he can do. The most talented player in NBA history. Huge crowning achievement, 2016 finals. He was dynamite in the finals, him and LeBron spearheading the only 3-1 deficit in finals history. He had 41 with LeBron in Game 5 at Oracle in a 112-97 win, and the kinds of shots he was making were ridiculous. On an elite defender in Klay Thompson, one in the fourth where he drives into Klay cuts him off, he like spins and as falling a bit, he hits the jump shot and one. This is also probably the most emotion Kyrie's shown in a game. And then, of course, one of the most iconic moments in NBA history. It was tied at 89 for the last few minutes of Game 7. LeBron was missing. Steph was missing. Not as much. Ty Lue calls timeout with 1 minute and 9 seconds left. J.R. Smith sets screen for Klay Thompson. Klay says it was his biggest regret that he switched. Takes Curry to the right elbow, 3-point line, dances a little bit, double between the legs, rises, hits, Cavs win 93-89. He also did a good job guarding Stephen Curry that series, all that offense, and then guarding the best player, not even known as a defender. So very impressive stuff by Kyrie. Number four, I have Russell Westbrook. I'd say easily the most athletic point guard in NBA history, one of the most athletic players in NBA history. The question is with Rose and Morant, but I think it's easily him over Rose and Morant because he has much more time of athleticism, 15 years, while Rose was just a small time and Morant just started. Even he just turned age 35. Um, he still has amazing athleticism. Russ has revolutionized the point guard position. PGs were never this ferocious, this athletic, this fast, this great at rebounding, this great at dunking. The highlights, an impact Russ has had has been huge. Always my favorite player as a kid and still is one of my favorite. But his style has not been so attributing to winning. His bad half-court offense, lapses on defense, just too much of a fireball, a cannon, always going 100%. The 2017 MVP year was very impressive, leading a very untalented OKC team when Durant just left to 47-35. But disappointment in playoffs, 2018 losing to Donovan Mitchell as a rookie, 2019 losing to Dame, and then small ball didn't work in Houston. I did enjoy his Washington year and where he became all-time in triple-doubles at 194. I think now he's way over 200. The problems is his jumper isn't consistent, so you can play off of him in the playoffs. And number five, Tony Parker. You can definitely argue he should be higher because of winning. 4-time champ and probably second important and consistent part of the Spurs' really stretched out dynasty. Finals MVP in a sweep of a third or fourth year LeBron in 07. and then arguably the best player on the 2014 champs, with Duncan declining a bit, and that was probably the most beautiful and best basketball I've seen as they dismantled the Big Three Heat and best player in the world 4-1, avenging the heartbreaking loss of the previous year. Tony was perfect in that Spurs ball movement, quick decision-making system, and often was initiator as point guard. I remember the bank shot with 5.2 of game 1 of the 2013 finals, and then that personal 5-0 run he went on in the 2013 finals as well in game 6, put the Spurs up 94-89 with just seconds, with just a feather away from the championship. But then that huge Miami Heat comeback happened. At number 6, I have Jamal Murray. Recency bias and my support of Murray can be a factor here, but the playoff run we just witnessed was one of the best runs we'll see as a second option. I think averaging like 25 on great efficiency, so many huge moments. He's also was 50, 40, 90 from the field the whole playoffs. I mean 50, 40, 90 in clutch shots, and the ball was in his hands so many times when it mattered the most in that remarkable two-man game with him and Joker. I can't think of any other guard to perfectly complement Joker. He can do it all on the offensive end, and as a 6'3" guard, play off the ball, come off screens, and actions for shots, spot up. As an amazing shooter, great in pick and roll. As a passer, great shooter in mid-range and 3, even a good finisher despite not being the most athletic. Remember that insane reverse layup he had in the bubble against LeBron in Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. He's no stranger to showing up in huge moments and outdueling stars, and is factually vital to Nuggets' success. 2020, they made it to the Western Conference Finals. In 21 and 2022, he was injured, first round exit, and swept in the second round. Healthy with MPJ and good roster additions, KCP, Bruce Brown, championship. We've yet to see a healthy Nuggets disappoint, and this can be the Nikola Jokic era, and Jamal Murray will be up there as well. Number 7, Jrue Holiday. Jrue has been in the league for a long time. Tatum was just joking with him, saying, "You played with T-Mac, and now you're playing. You're still playing now, and you're old." He's been a really solid player in the league for a while. Started in Philly, had a great rookie year in 2008, had a nice highlight dunk on LeBron, had a good stint in New Orleans for most of the 2010s alongside AD, another dominant defender, beating Portland in a sweep in 2018 as a 6th seed. Jrue was huge in making Dame have a miserable series. He's the best perimeter defender, I think, of this era and one of the best of all time. His ability to switch and guard players bigger than him and battle in the post, his strong base, shiftiness, and will beat you to spots. And his hands are incredible. Deflection strips. Legendary moment in Game 5 of the 2021 NBA Finals, tied 2-2. Suns were making a run. Booker had the ball driving on Tucker in the left elbow area close to the rim. Holiday comes from the three-point line, knocks it away from behind, leads the break, and makes the gutsy alley-oop pass to Giannis for the dunk and the foul. The Bucks' 2021 defense was terrifying. Jrue and Middleton, also a good defender. Then Brook, one of the best rim protectors. And then Giannis, the best help defender in the world. And PJ Tucker. That was their identity. Their half-court offense wasn't that good. Jrue was bad and has been bad offensively also in the 2022 playoffs. I would argue he was more integral for them defensively over Giannis, especially in finals, taking Chris Paul the first few games, picking him up full court and wearing him out, and then switched to Booker Game 3, and he had a terrible game, just swarming him, giving him no room, blocking him. Although Booker had 40 in Game 4 and Game 5, Jrue made him work tirelessly for every bucket on him, and it was more due to some incredible shot making from Booker. The assortment of jumpers and turnaround shots he was hitting in Game 4 were ridiculous, Kobe Bryant-esque. The Bucks rightfully traded him for Dame, and he finds himself in a great situation in Boston, being the Marcus Smart replacement. I think he's better on both ends and is better than Smart in late game situations, though he's not that good. Rivaling his former Bucks, if he can win with the Celtics and get his second ring and be the reason Celtics and Tatum get over the hump, that will do a good bit for his legacy. Number 8, Kyle Lowry. Similar to Jrue, Kyle has been in the league a while and has won a ring somewhat recent with his beloved Raptors in 2019 as a third option. Lowry, known for his hustle, defense, and taking charges. He was drafted very late by Houston and then was part of a trade to Toronto, and he made a name for himself by doing the little things like I've mentioned. Him and DeMar DeRozan led very good regular season teams, being the 1 seed once being the 1 seed once, but every year they would inevitably lose to LeBron and the Cavs pretty easily. This happened until 2018, where they got swept by the Cavs with that 2018 Cavs team. Siakam said on a podcast he knew there'd be changes, and Masai made the bold move to trade DeMar to the Spurs for Kawhi and Danny Green. Kawhi, who hasn't played since he infamously got injured by Zaza Pachulia in Game 1 of the 2017 Western Conference Finals. It was bold to say the least, but acquiring a superstar-level player was the key to bringing a title to the country of Canada. Kyle had early struggles in the playoffs versus the Magic, but his three-point shooting in D was very valuable, and famously, after missing the last shot in Game 5 of the finals, came out smoking in Game 6, having 18 in the first and making his first 5 shots to set the tone, and had a huge bucket in clutch time of Game 6 to put them up by 6 on a lucky bounce shot with a few minutes left. While Kyle is not the greatest Raptor, he's a Raptor at heart and forever is linked with the city of Toronto, and he accomplished the pinnacle there. Number 9, Derrick Rose. The impact of Derrick Rose is far greater than people ahead of him, but unfortunately injuries spoiled everything. The MVP season in 2011, although some say LeBron should have won, it was very impressive at the time for a small point guard like him. Chicagoans reminisce so much about those times, and the injury is one of the most heartbreaking things in sports. The quickness, speed, vertical, and finishing was never seen before. I've heard a Chicagoan say he reminisce he means more than Jordan, especially because he grew up in Chicago. He's a hometown hero. He's been in the streets people of Chicago are in. The mixtapes, the what ifs, I think make it more special than reality would have been, probably. These memories and nostalgia and hype and energy in the city is all you can ask for from a fan experience. The way Chicagoans talk about the D Rose days, you'd think they three-peated. He got so many people into the game of basketball. There was so much excitement. He was like the next Jordan for a struggling franchise after Mike. The impact and legacy is there, but unfortunately not enough to be a top point guard of this era. Number 10, De'Aaron Fox. I'm putting Fox higher than Brunson, who's next, based off potential. I think right now Brunson's a little better, but Fox shown and proven so much in that 2022-23 season, leading the best offense in the league and one of the most exciting teams, and giving the Kings their first playoff appearance since 06. De'Aaron Fox is probably the quickest player in the NBA. He's a blur, and it's so hard to keep him in front. He won Clutch Player of the Year last year. He was brilliant in the clutch. He would switch to another gear. So many clutch buckets in the mid-range, and he was great in the playoffs too, leading them to wins in Game 1 and Game 2, and taking the dubs to 7, with Steph Curry having to put 50 on them in Game 7 to win. He's one of the next stars in this league. Number 11, Jalen Brunson. I'm a big Jalen Brunson fan. I love his craftiness, creativity, and physicality as a 6-foot guard. The Knicks signed him in the 2022 offseason for $25 million a year. People were worried it would be an overpay, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Jalen Brunson, in his first year in the bright lights of New York City, absolutely shined, leading them to an unexpected 47-35 record after a down year, with Julius Randle having a good season in the 2020-21 season, and then bad playoffs and a bad 21-22 season. It was pretty clear that Randle can't be your franchise player, especially with his wild, inconsistent style of play. Brunson became the franchise guy, that steady, calm, impactful leader, and he was marvelous in the playoffs, upsetting the 3-seed Cavs in the first round, giving Knicks their first playoff series win since 2013. He outplayed Donovan Mitchell, a top 20 to 25 player, actually for the second straight year when he was in Dallas, and they beat the Jazz last year. He also outplayed Donovan Mitchell then. There he was one-handedly carrying the Knicks versus the Heat because their shooting was miserable. Randle and Barrett were bad, and put up a respectable fight against the Eastern Conference champions. Key moment in Game 6, down 2 with 15 seconds, turned the ball over because he was trying to make a tough pass in traffic because he didn't trust Josh Hart, who was open for 3 at the top of the key. He was clearly at a talent and roster disadvantage. I think for the Knicks to really compete, they need another star there like Embiid or someone else that can be possible. Brunson has established a culture for the pain-filled Knicks and has the Big Apple alive again. Number 12, Ja Morant. I would say Ja Morant exactly fits the Russell Westbrook mold. Nuclear athleticism, super exciting, half-court offense, shooting and defense. Can be a struggle though. But I think he can be better than Russ because his 3-point shot goes down sometimes. Like in Game 3 of the first round of this past playoffs versus LA, he made 6 threes. Half of them were in garbage time, but the potential is there. He has a great young roster around him. Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr., Steven Adams. But his off-the-court issues is hugely affecting them as they're just 2-8 right now to start the year. So I hope that doesn't become an issue for him because it would be a waste of extraordinary talent. Ja already has had a huge impact on basketball. The young generations loves him with his dances, his rap quotes, and overall energy. And the way he plays with his outrageous dunks, that dunk on Malik Beasley in the 2022 playoffs was an all-timer. Ja plays with so much passion, emotion, and joy, and he's thrilling to watch. I just hope he can be a good role model for the youth because his impact is huge. Number 13, Trae Young. Trae is a very polarizing player. I'd say more in a negative way. A lot of people don't believe in his game at all. While there are truths to that, I think it's a bit exaggerated. He's one of the better offensive systems in the regular season. Lots of incredible games that he had. Not a good defender, not a great offensive player in ISO or the playoffs, and can be too heliocentric. And one huge moment for him, he absolutely showed out in his playoff debut in 2021, steering the bright lights of Madison Square Garden and embracing the villain role. They won in 5 and hit a finishing touches 3 and took a bow at Madison Square Garden. And this is where the world noticed this guy not only embraced but loves these moments, and he takes on a villain role. Then they upset the 76ers, much to do with the Ben Simmons debacle. Then beat the Bucks in Game 1. Trae had 50, and after crossing Holiday, he shimmied mid-play, then hit the 3. This guy is audacious, to say the least. He's been getting hate his whole basketball journey. In high school gyms, they would always chant overrated, but this run was more of a fluke than something sustainable. In 2022, just barely made the playoffs with the play-in, lost in 5. 2023, lost to the Celtics in 6. It's pretty clear there's a ceiling to a Trae Young team. I don't believe he can be the best player on a championship team. I do believe he can be the best player on a good team, though.